Hey, this is Brad from Argali, and today I'm going to show you how to pitch a flat cut tarp, including 4 of my favorite ways to pitch it in the backcountry. So today I'm using our Talus tarp, which is an 8.5 by 10 flat cut tarp, but you do not have to have our tarp in order to utilize these pitches. Any flat cut tarp that you have will work, and you can utilize these pitches. So let's dive in. The first pitch I'm going to show you is just kind of a classic A-frame pitch. You'll notice that we have the short end open, and then you have the long ends along the side here. This is just a really versatile way to pitch a tarp if you're using it as a sleeping shelter, particularly in the summertime or early season. So let's talk about how do you set it up like this. So first thing you want to do is you want to guy out 2 of the corners on the long end. You know, we have line lock adjusters built into all the guy outs in our Talus tarp here. The nice thing about having line locks built in here is you can quickly and easily adjust the tension on all of your guy out points. So you'll notice that when you're pitching a tarp, particularly when you're pitching it as a in any of the configurations we have set up here, there's going to be some fussing around with each of the guy out points that you're going to have to do in order to get the pitch right. The more you pitch a tarp in different configurations, the better you're going to get at it. But inevitably, you're going to have a little bit of fussing around, tightening this side, loosening that side, just to get it just right and perfect. And you'll notice here, there's a little bit of wavy action going on in the tarp here because we didn't spend a whole lot of time trying to get it perfectly taut here today. I like to run our paracord about equidistant on either side of the line lock, pitch one side, pitch the other side. I like to come over here and I'll put my left hand on this corner right here, and I'll take my right hand and I'll find right about the equidistant point and this corner. And then as it's laying flat, wherever my right hand ends up, I'm gonna take this corner right here, this guy out, and I'm gonna bring my left hand to where my right hand is, and I'm gonna pitch this stake right where that's at. And what that's gonna allow me to do is it's gonna allow me enough space then to put the trekking pole here up in the middle of the tarp when I get done. And in this situation, all I've done is run a clove hitch around the tip of my trekking pole here, and then you're just gonna guy out this piece of paracord right here. You'll notice on the sides here, we don't have stakes right here. This is a little stick trick. You can run a stick through some paracord and then put a rock over it or multiple rocks, and that can serve as your guy out point for your tarp. Okay, let's move on to another pitch. I call this a modified A-frame. This is one that I have used a number of times, especially on early season archery hunts. It's essentially an A-frame with one end closed down. So the pitching process is relatively similar. The reason I like this setup a bit more, especially if I might be expecting any weather or any wind, is you have one end closed to the ground so I can face sort of the butt of the tarp or the closed end towards the direction where the weather is most likely to come. That way you've got a little bit better protection from the elements. The way you pitch this version though, instead of starting out with your long end, you're gonna come to one of your short ends and you're gonna pitch both of these corners in the back here down to the ground. You don't want it to be taut. You just kind of wanna pitch it, leave a little bit of slack in each of the corners, and then run the tarp flat up here. And then you're gonna do the same thing on the top end that you did with the classic A-frame pitch. And then the last thing you're gonna do is you're gonna put a trekking pole in the middle of our tarp here. On our tarps on the inside, we have a little metal grommet sewed into that X-Pack fabric in the middle there, which is designed for a tip of a trekking pole. And as you can see, you want that trekking pole to be slightly lower than this trekking pole. So you don't want, if you get that trekking pole too high, it's gonna cause your tarp to pitch kind of weird. This next pitch is kind of a I call this like a modified lean-to type shelter. Now this is a great pitch to get out of the sun, or you have an unexpected rainstorm or thunderstorm roll through. You wanna just be able to take shelter until it rolls past. Great way to pitch a tarp, or great use for a tarp here. The way I like to pitch this one is you essentially just do the long end pitched all the way to the ground, and I pitch those corners first, and then I come up and pitch the top 2 corners as tall as you want them. What I have here is our 2 trekking poles extended out to 140 centimeters on both ends here. And then again, all I've done is run a piece of paracord looped around the trekking pole all the way to the ground and then staked it out. Same thing on the other side. You don't have to have another trekking pole in the center, but because we have that piece of reinforced X-Pack fabric and the grommet, I find that this gives you a little bit more headroom inside the tarp. If you don't have anything in the center of your tarp, you just need to do a steeper lean-to so that rain just sheds off the back end of your tarp and doesn't start to sag and pool in the middle of it. Let's go to the last pitch that we have set up over here. Now this is more of a group site pitch. I've done this a number of times where we might have like pack saddles for our stock. We might have our jet boils and our food, and this is kind of where we gather at night to cook and eat. I've also done this at trailheads where I might have a picnic bench and we want a little bit of shelter to get out of any potential rain, or just provide some cover for any weather that might come in. You can put stuff in here and know it's not gonna get wet. So let me show you kind of what we got going on here. So first of all, you'll notice that we took some paracord and replaced all the corners, the 24-inch chunks of paracord with some longer pieces of paracord, and then tied it off on, we have 4 trees here. Now, the way we have it set up here, we have 2 of our trekking poles with our X3 adapter pitched in the middle here. So rain's gonna shed off the sides. If we didn't have that pole here, let me just pop this out and I'll show you what I mean. Didn't have that pole in the middle there. As you can see, if we were gonna get any rain, the rain would wanna collect in this tarp right here, and that's just gonna cause it to sag, and it might cause your you know, if you get enough weight on it, it could cause it to fail. So if I was gonna pitch this without this, I would wanna pitch these ends higher, at least one end higher, so I get a nice slanted pitch. But because I have these 2 trekking poles on our X3 adapter, as well as the grommet with the piece of reinforced X-Pack fabric here, I can kind of push this up and just create a nice pitch that I know we're not gonna have any issues with rain shedding off of this. So I hope you found this useful. Those are 4 different ways you can pitch a tarp with a whole bunch of variation, as you can imagine, with how you use any one of these pitches. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, or if you have a favorite way to pitch a tarp, I'd love to hear about it, and please let me know in the comments.